The mule, who used his mentalic abilities to take over the planet Calgon, was first shown to us in the first episode of Foundation Season 3. Evidently, that had an impact on the entire cosmos, and the Prime Radiant clocked it right away. When Demerzel informed Dawn, Dusk, and Day about the impending crisis, also referred to as the Selden Crisis, on Trantor, Day had accepted his fate and rejoiced in the fall of the Empire, but Dawn and Dusk were concerned. The coup in Calgon to address the officers who were, or perhaps still are, loyal to Archduke Balerion. The mule enters the royal castle and demonstrates why they must submit to him. He mind controls her into shooting herself by bringing out Scarlet, which is a strange way to misrepresent the name Scarlet just because it's a sci-fi film. It's obvious that the Runtling is the mule's puppet, though I'm not sure if he had control over Scarlet after he had her abducted or if he does so throughout this demonstration. She keeps responding with more than anything every time the mule asks her if she wants to obey his commands because of this. This is yet another perplexing event. At the count of 3, the mule instructs Scarlet to shoot herself. After saying 2, the mule pauses for a moment. One of the officers then blurts out 3. So, was the mule testing who was most receptive to his magical recommendations by utilizing his powers of coercion on Scarlet or the entire room? Or was that officer merely attempting to save Scarlet the suffering that accompanies the fear of death? I'm not sure. Is Selden dead? The first speaker, Thullis, roused Gal and Hari from their sleep 151 years before the events of Episode 1 on Ignis, which is now the second Foundation. Gal and Hari have a lot of work to do to make sure the galaxy continues to exist after the third crisis. Since they still had a century to go until the mule appeared, they would awaken from cryosleep for a few weeks each year, to provide the Mentalics with the guidance they needed to learn more about psychohistory and develop their superpowers so they could defeat the mule. In an effort to find more possible Mentalics, they even started extending their influence by sent envoys to other planets. However, Gal and Hari finally realized that they would not be prepared to face the mule, regardless of how well they managed their waking and sleeping hours. If they intended to set a route for mankind after the third crisis, everything would need to be flawless, not nearly perfect, but perfect. One of them would have to give up their life to stay awake and make up for all the time they had lost due to their intermittent cryosleeping method in order for that to occur. Hari believed that Gal would stay out there training the Mentalics while she would go into cryosleep since he was essential to the battle against the mule. Gal was hesitant at first, but after Hari assured her that he would wake her up after a year, she entered her